All right, I'm finally getting around to identifying some things that I love on my Canon C300 Mark II camera. It's actually my dream camera, and when I got it for super cheap, and I've just been waiting to really use it a lot more before I reviewed it. I've been using it for commercials, for YouTube Reels, for Instagram Reels, and Facebook videos, and all this other stuff that I have going on. It's an awesome camera, and it color grades perfectly. I am juiced to have it, and without further ado, I'm going to get into a little bit more about why I love this camera so much. Okay, so the first thing that I love about this camera are the button configurations. If you look here, you can see there's a ton of buttons on the side, and you know, they're extremely useful. The reason why they're extremely useful is because, just for one, you can hit an ISO button here, a shutter button here. I mean, those two buttons I use like a lot when I'm out shooting, and you really need that. The other thing is that there's ND filters built into the system here, and you hit the button for scrolling through these ND filters right here. I love that. You got the start and stop button here. You have your play button here for when you're reviewing your videos after you take them. And then there's other little things like zebra and peaking and WFM and SNF frame rate. All of these things are all on the front, or I'm sorry, on the side of the camera, and they're easily accessible. Not only that, but not only they're accessible, there's a little highlight light. You may not be able to see it here, but when you press this light, it actually lights up everything here. The light also lights up our backside here on the LCD panel right there. And that's extremely convenient when you're shooting in low light and you need to be able to see your LCD screen on your camera. Okay, let's talk about the inputs and outputs on this camera. So right on the backside, you can see that it has a G-Sync lock, a time code, monitor out, record out, remote link cable controller, headphone port, and HDMI cable. All of these are extremely convenient to have because you're going to need to use these in different settings. So for instance, if you're on a film set, you're definitely going to be using most of these here. You'll rarely use the HDMI on a film set because typically you're going out to monitors that take SDI inputs, and this is a professional cinema camera, so this is why you know, they've built this camera to be able to act really good on those and perform really good on those sets. So another thing about this camera's outputs are the audio and video cables that come out of the camera and go into the backside of the control box that goes on the top with the monitor, and it outputs video and audio so that you can see it on the screen here. So let's look at the buttons on this control panel that we have here on top of the camera. So the really cool part about this is that you can get into the menu from here and really just go through all the menu settings right in here. And that's really convenient. A lot of buttons here. We have the playback buttons, you know, fast forward, rewind. I talked about the menu button. There's function buttons, so you can set up custom functions on the buttons on the Canon C300 Mark II. And there's also a control station here for the microphones and audio inputs. And you have channel 1 and 2, which is located on the side here at channel 1 and 2 on the XLR inputs. Now, that is extremely cool. I really love this feature because when I'm on set, I can easily pop open this right here and not have to go into the camera settings and mess around with the input. You can manually mess with that with the audio input. So it's all right here. That's one of my favorite features. And then the LCD screen is pretty good. Not the best in the world, but it gets the job done, and it's actually pretty good outdoors. I used it outdoors yesterday and it did extremely well. So that's another feature I love. Okay, so the last and most coolest thing that I find really cool about this camera is the fact that it takes Canon EF lenses. And I've had Canon EF lenses for over 5 years now since I've been shooting with Canon. I particularly don't like buying new lenses. They cost a lot of money. And I don't really need to buy lenses every time I need to do a new job because I have such a versatile range of EF lenses and EFS lenses, and they get the job done. They match up really good with this camera because, for one, this particular camera has autofocus. So the fact that the camera has autofocus and can use EFS lenses, that means that I can have stabilizing lenses plus autofocus features in here. And when I use this camera on my Ronin gimbal, I use a RS3 Pro. I can autofocus while I'm moving, and I don't need to use any kind of external plug-in hardware to the Ronin in order to get it focused. It just does it really well, and it locks on to eye focus, and it also locks on to heads and multiple people in the frame. It does get really good. It doesn't go crazy, but it does a really good job at doing what I need it to do. Okay, there you go, guys. You got my review on the 5 things that I love about this camera, my dream camera, the Canon C300 Mark II. I've shot weddings with this, commercials, like I said, social media. It's great. It's an overall great camera. Get it if you can afford it. It's not that expensive compared to when it first came out. So if you like content like this, like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any videos that we release. Catch y'all on the next one.